Hi guys, welcome back to the Jake Vlogs channel and welcome to my Premier League predictions. This is a series that I really want to continue trying my best and hopefully do it weekly. I'm going to be getting guests on the channel week in, week out. And yeah, overall it's just going to be a bit of fun. But before we get into this video, there 51% of you that are watching my videos are not currently subscribed, so if you could please go down there and hit that red subscribe button if you haven't already. It would be massively appreciated. So my first Premier League predictions of the season, and as I said, this is something that I'd like to get guests on every week, and we have got a guest indeed, absolute brilliant guest, a proper old school football fan. Who else to kick off Premier League predictions? It is none other than Lee Judges. So big thank you to Lee Judges, of course, from AFTV. Also has his own channel as well. And we're just going to be going through our predictions for the upcoming weekend game. So let's get straight into it. Starting off with the first game on the weekend, which is actually a Friday night game. Arsenal take on Aston Villa at the Emirates. Of course, Arsenal got a very, very late point on Monday night, thanks to Alexandre Lacazette equaliser. But, Villa, no disrespect to Palace, Villa are a better team, in my opinion, than Palace, and I think Arsenal are going to struggle again. Could they lose again at home? Of course, last season, Arsenal got battered at home to Aston Villa, remember, 3-0, Ollie Watkins on fire. For Arsenal, I can see another draw. I'm going to go with Arsenal 1, Villa 1.
Hi, Lee Judges here. These are my predictions for the weekend, starting off with the Friday night game, Arsenal versus Villa. I'm going to go for Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1.
Moving on to the 12:30 game on Saturday, Chelsea v Norwich. I don't really think, you're expecting me to say anything else. I'm going Chelsea 3, Norwich 0. It's only a matter of weeks now, or months, I should say, until Norwich go back down where they belong, to the Championship. They're just not a Premier League side. They stay up, they come up, and they just do not do enough every other year to stay in the league. I think Chelsea are going to cruise this one. Chelsea 3, Norwich 0.
On the Saturday game, early game, Chelsea versus Norwich. Chelsea 3, Norwich 0.
Crystal Palace v the Saudi boys, Newcastle United. Of course, Crystal Palace, as I just mentioned, probably will feel a bit disappointed during the week on Monday night. Not coming away with the Emirates with all 3 points. And they're playing a Newcastle team who, of course, we know what's been going on with them. They've been taken over by Saudis that have hundreds of billions. But, of course, they can't do anything until January at the earliest. So it's not really going to change the fact that Newcastle are, at the moment, a really, really poor side. But I think Newcastle will have a bit of, of course, Steve Bruce as well. The other day left by mutual consent, whether he actually got sacked or not. I'm not sure, but yeah, Steve Bruce is no longer in charge, which will put a lot of smiles on Newcastle fans' faces. Overall, I can see this being another draw. I'm going Crystal Palace 1, Newcastle 1.
Palace versus Newcastle. Crystal Palace 2, Newcastle 0.
Moving on now to Everton v Watford. 2 teams that lost on the weekend. 2 teams that didn't score a goal on the weekend. Watford especially getting absolutely hammered against Liverpool last Saturday. Everton, of course, losing 1-0 at home as well to West Ham. For me, Watford right now, I don't think are in the best place. Of course, they have just brought in Claudio Ranieri. It's going to be interesting to see how they cope with him. Personally, I don't think Watford are going to go down. I think they'll just about stay up. But for this game, I'm going to go with an Everton win. I'm going Everton 2, Watford 0.
I'm then going to go for Everton versus Watford. Everton 3, Watford 1.
Leeds United v Wolverhampton Wanderers. For me, this game has a draw all over it. Leeds, week in, week out are so unpredictable. They can get a really good result one week and they could just not turn up the other. Rafinha, is he going to turn up? Is he going to put in a good performance? He scored some crucial goals for Leeds this season. So is he going to do it again? I'm not sure, but for me, I'm going to go with a draw once again. For me, this has a draw all over it. Again, I'm going with another Leeds 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1.
Leeds versus Wolves. Leeds 2, Wolves 1.
Moving on now to Southampton versus Burnley at St Mary's. It's fair to say, this game I very much doubt, will be stealing the headlines come Sunday morning. For me, it's a typical 0-0 for me. I'm going Southampton 0, Burnley 0 as two teams that, don't score many goals, haven't scored many goals this season. And yeah, there's not much more to say. I can see this being a ball draw. Southampton 0, Burnley 0.
Southampton versus Burnley 1-1.
Moving on to the 5:30 game on Saturday evening, we have Brighton and Hove Albion taking on the champions of England, Manchester City. Two teams who have started the season quite well. Brighton especially, they're kind of making all their XG from last season, making it count this season. Graham Potter doing a really good job at Brighton. A few weeks ago they could have been top of the league, I think, if they'd beaten Crystal Palace. So that just goes to show how we're, 7-8 games into the season now, and Brighton are still up there, playing well. But I think this is going to be a little step too far for Brighton and Hove Albion. For me, of course they won. They did beat Man City at home towards the back end of last season. But for me, as I said, I think this is just a step too far for Brighton. I'm going Brighton 1, Manchester City 3.
Brighton versus Manchester City. Brighton 1, Manchester City 3.
And that takes us on now to the 3 Sunday games, starting off with the earlier game, Brentford v Leicester. Of course, Brentford got very, very unlucky, in my opinion, not to get at least a draw against Chelsea last Saturday night. And Leicester have just come off of a really good win in the Europa League. Patterson Daka scoring 4 goals, all 4 goals, I should say, for Leicester in Moscow. Is he going to continue that scoring form? Only time will tell. I do think Leicester will come away with the 3 points. I know they've been a little bit inconsistent this season so far, but I do think Brendan Rodgers' men will leave Brentford with all 3 points. My prediction, I'm going to go Brentford 1, Leicester City 2. West Ham v my team, Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs have just come off, both teams have come off of a really good result last weekend. Of course, Spurs beating Newcastle 3-2, and for me, it wasn't a 3-2 game. We could have easily scored 4 or 5 goals in that game, and of course, West Ham getting a really massive 3 points for David Moyes up at Goodison Park on the weekend. For me, it's going to be a really, really tough game. It always is when Spurs travel to the London Stadium. For me, a draw is, I think a draw is quite likely. I'm going to go with the draw. I'm going to go with West Ham 1, Spurs 1. Spurs always seem to struggle with the atmosphere at the London Stadium. It is their cup final, so West Ham always seem to turn up against us, especially at the London Stadium. I'm going West Ham 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
And on Sunday, West Ham versus Spurs. West Ham 2, Spurs 1.
And moving on to, of course, the biggest game of the weekend, Manchester United v Liverpool. Now, I'm filming this Thursday morning, the morning after Cristiano Ronaldo announced himself once again on the big stage, as he always does, for Manchester United, getting a crucial 3-2 win over Atalanta. But for me, Liverpool have just been on fire recently. Of course, they smashed 5 past Watford, got a great 3-2 win against Atletico Madrid during the week. So goals for them is definitely not an issue. and I think the Scousers will be leaving Old Trafford with 3 goals, 3 points. I'm going Manchester United 1, Liverpool 3.
And the game between Liverpool and Manchester United at Old Trafford, Manchester United 2, Liverpool 2.
So there we go, that was mine and Lee's predictions for the upcoming weekend matches. Yeah, as I said, make sure you subscribe. I want to continue this series. I want to get guests on every single week, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, let me know how you think the weekend is going to pan out for Premier League action. Let me know it all down below in the comments below. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.